Welcome to 15 Minutes with Dad. I'm your host, Lirec Williams, author of Man Up From Our Trauma to Being Impactful Fathers. This podcast is about real fatherhood at every stage, the kind that isn't filtered, perfect, or easy. It's about being present, having a presence, growing through the tough moments, and leading with purpose even when life gets messy. Every episode, we talk about the things that matter most: emotional healing, parenting resilience, co-parenting, being a spouse, and learning how to build homes rooted in love and accountability. If something you hear in this conversation helps you grow, I want to hear from you. Share your story, your wins, or the areas you're still working on. Email me directly at Lirec, L-I-R-E-C, at 15minuteswithdad.com. That's Lirec, L-I-R-E-C, at 15minuteswithdad.com. Because this podcast isn't just a platform, it's a community. And every story we share brings another father closer to healing, connection, and legacy. So let's get into today's episode. Today, I want to talk about something that I've been living through for years and something I've only recently had the language for: a core wound. And that has shaped almost every part of my life. This wound was not created overnight. It was planted in childhood, reinforced in my teenage years, and carried into adulthood without me even realizing it. It shaped how I showed up as a son, as a big brother, as an uncle. It shaped how I parent my teenage daughter. It shaped how I loved in relationships, and it shaped how I tried to fix things that were never mine to fix. And this wound is that I grew up believing that everything I do is wrong and I can't do anything right. And because of that belief, I built my identity on performance, fixing, pleasing, holding everything together, and even when it crushed me. Today, I want to break this down honestly, not to blame the past or anyone in it, but to understand how it shaped me and how it shapes many fathers listening right now. If you listen to my last episode, you would understand where I believe my core wound came from. And I'm going to revisit that real quick just so that we're all on the same page for those that are just tuning in on this episode. But I grew up in a home where discipline was often punishment. Mistakes were met with whoopings, anger, emotional shutdowns. There was no space to truly be all there is to be a human. There was no space to learn. It's not much of a space to develop confidence through exploration. When a child is punished for mistakes, instead of guided through them, they learn one thing: I am the problem. So when you add an additional layer of drug abuse and caretaking for addiction as a child, it makes it even further complex. And that belief can grow faster than any bruise. It can become the lens that we judge ourselves by. It became the filter for every relationship that I created after that. And it also became the pressure behind every decision. And psychologists calls this the internalized shame. It is what happens when discipline teaches fear instead of responsibility. And as a boy, I learned to stay on high alert, to anticipate issues, to fix things before they became a problem, and to avoid any form of disapproval. And because I never wanted to be wrong or do anything wrong, I became the one who always tried to make everything right. And it's not saying that I did only things to make things right. When I mean everything right, means that I personalized everything in a way that I felt like I needed to fix it or make a decision to fix it or to alter it. As a child, I became the emotional anchor for my family when a family member passed away or, someone needed a listener, a problem solver, the one who tried to keep peace between any of my siblings and my parents. And when my siblings struggled, I stepped in. When my family argued, I tried to solve it. My mom right today calls me her professor. And when an adult had issues, I felt responsible even though I was a kid. And I think I grew up too fast, not because I was mature, but because I was scared of being wrong. I carried my family's problems as if they were my personal duty. And it got to a point where I felt like I was the only one that cared. My family was going through a lot of struggles that I've gone through. And I felt like if they just only listened, they wouldn't have to go through the things that I go through or that I went through. So when helping them push me into depression, I thought something was wrong with me. And I fell into that depression because I thought, like, when the problems became bigger than me, it felt like I failed them. And there was a point in time where I lost my job and I didn't hear from much of my family at that point. Like my first job out of college, I didn't hear from my family much at that point. And I thought something was wrong with me, not with the responsibility I had been handed, not with the emotional labor that was placed on my shoulders. I blamed myself. And eventually the weight got too heavy for me. And the first chance that I got, I was like, you know what? I can start fresh. I was in a situation where I could leave the city and I left Houston. Physically, it freed me, but emotionally, it left a hole. Because I didn't have anybody. I don't have anybody in this city that I live in. And I kind of built up friendships and things of that nature, but I don't have family. So a part of me wondered if leaving meant I failed them or if they felt abandoned. Or if a part of me wondered if I walked away because deep down, I believe I could not fix what was broken. And in shadow work, I learned something important. I was a child playing a grown man's emotional role. And when your inner child grows up believing he must fix everything, the adult version of you keeps repeating the pattern over and over again. Parenting a teenager has been one of the biggest mirrors in my life. When moments where she started acting out, I took it personally. And her behavior felt like a reflection of me. It made my core wound flare up. My mind went straight to self-blame, like, what did I do wrong? Where did I fail her? But teenagers push boundaries. They make impulsive choices. They try on identities. They test limits. It is developmentally normal. It's not always a crisis. It's not always a commentary on us. Yet, I treated every moment like proof of my failure. And when she came to me talking about her feelings, her choices, her fears, or her mistakes, I switched into lecture mode. Not because I wanted to control her, but because lectures were my armor, my attempt to fix, my attempt to protect her from becoming the version of me I never got to be. But what she needed was not a fixer. She needed a father who listens, who gives her confidence in her own decisions, who trusts her process, who understands her world without making it about himself. Shadow work taught me that I had been parenting from fear of being wrong, fear of failing her, fear of repeating cycles, fear of not being enough. But what teenagers need most is presence, not my perfection. Now, being in a relationship with an anxious avoidant partner pulled my core wound into the center of the room. Her anxiety needed reassurance. Her avoidant tendencies created distance. And together, it became a roller coaster for us. Every conflict felt like confirmation that I was failing. Every trigger she had felt like something I needed to fix. Every emotional high or low made me question myself. And I took her emotional reactions as proof that I was not doing love right. I personalized everything. I overcorrected. I tried to keep the peace even when it meant abandoning my own needs. And that is what people pleasing looks like in a relationship. It feels like care, but it is fear. It is the fear of losing love. It is the fear of being wrong. It's the fear of disappointing someone you care deeply about. And resentment grew. Not because she was difficult, but because I was trying to perform instead of partner. I was trying to fix instead of communicate. I was trying to avoid the feeling of being wrong instead of expressing my needs honestly. And it's the heart of the core wound. You stop being yourself because you're too busy trying to be what you think someone needs. And there's this part of me that I've learned that I needed to heal in the wrong time. I got deep into a relationship with someone, fell deeply in love with someone, but we could not make that last leap into a space where we both felt safe. And after going through therapy for so long, I started to realize like these questions that my therapists were asking me, I not only did not have answers for them, but I've never actually thought about them. So I spent time thinking about them and started to look at the life that I've created and strongly realized like I replicated the atmosphere of my childhood. And I based all of my someone needing me, my value on someone or being valuable to someone or being able to fix something from the first conversation of dating this person was off the back of a conversation about fixing or protecting or doing something that would cure that love language itch of act of service. But when I finally slowed down and looked at the truth, I realized something important. I was trained to believe that my worth came from fixing everything around me and not from being myself. Every role in my life became a performance. Son, brother, uncle, father, partner. Every role was shaped by one belief. If something goes wrong, it is my fault. But here is the truth I want fathers to hear. You are not responsible for everything. You cannot fix everything. You were not meant to. You are meant to simply be human. Learn, live, and love. Mistakes are not failures. They are just information. They are our growth. They are a part of being alive. Now, if you've made it to the end of this episode and you were listening and you see your own story and mine, I want you to hear me clearly. You are not the problem. Your wound is the problem, and your wound is not your identity. You are allowed to set things down that were never yours. You are allowed to release the belief that everything you touch can break. You are allowed to parent without fear, to love without fixing, to be seen without performing. You're allowed to be human without apologizing for it. Healing your core wound is about remembering and rediscovering who you were before the wound was created. Your children need you. Your relationship needs you. And you need yourself. Not the fixer, not the perfectionist, not the rescuer, not the performer. They need the man underneath all of that. And he has always been enough. Always. And just like that, we've hit an end of another epic journey here at 15 Minutes with Dad. I'm your host, Lirec, and I am thrilled to have shared this time with you. But guess what? The conversation is far from over. Want to dive deeper into the Dadverse? Check out our website at 15minuteswithdad.com and join our vibrant community on Instagram, Discord, and TikTok for your daily dose of dad inspiration, camaraderie. And here's something special. Subscribe to our newsletter at 15minuteswithdad.com for exclusive goodies and behind-the-scene peeks you won't find anywhere else. Got a burning question or a dad moment that made you proud? We're all ears. Submit your questions and share those special moments with us for a chance to be featured and shout out on our show. It's your time to shine in our dad community, so tap in with our Discord, and our server is at 15 Minutes with Dad. So tap in for that. Engage with the community, and you will be featured on our show. Each week we will do another feature. So
Join in. Love today's episode. Spread the love by sharing it with a friend and leaving us a review. Let's get the word out and grow our awesome dad family, because guess what? When you give us a review and you rate our podcast, you give everybody the chance to enjoy what you've enjoyed about this podcast as well. So mark your calendars, because new episodes drop every Thursday of the week. Ready for more heartwarming stories, laughs, and dad wisdom? We can't wait to have you back. But until next time, keep being the amazing dad you are. Every day is a new adventure and every moment is special. Catch you on the next episode. Love, peace, and chicken grease.